Hello and welcome back to the Radiantly Crowned podcast. I am your host, Tiffany the Diamond, and if you found my channel today, you are more than likely on a mission to find the most important person in your life. And sis, that's you. And if you tuned in last week, we broke down the true definition of closure and how it relates to our healing journey. On last episode, I shared a personal story about a rejection that I received while applying for a job. And sis, I know that a job might seem like a small thing, especially when you compare it to losing a loved one or a major breakup. But I told that story because I wanted you to know how important it is to get closure on anything, small, medium, large. If it breaks your peace, then you get some closure on it. And today, I want to take an even deeper look into closure, and let's just talk a little bit more about it. So, one of the biggest misconceptions I think that we have about closure is that it requires an apology or an explanation. We sit around and we wait for someone to send us a text or wait on them to realize that they were wrong. No, kind of like wait on an exit interview. And hear me when I say this. You don't need anyone's permission to move forward. You don't need anyone's explanation to get closure. The only permission you need is from the woman that is looking at herself in the mirror every day. You have to make an executive decision that you will no longer allow that situation to ruminate in your mind, to dictate how you feel, or to rule your future decisions. Going back to that job I mentioned last week that I applied for. Now, they did give me a reason or an explanation as to why I didn't receive it, but it just didn't sit well with me. And if I can be completely real with you, sis, the reason that they gave was complete crap. But then that's when it hit me. That's when I really realized that we sit and we want explanations, and then the explanations that we get, we're rarely satisfied with them anyway because they don't even make sense. Now, see, if I was still sitting around waiting on an explanation or that I thought would satisfy me or that was good enough, I'd still be stuck. Yeah, I'd still be sitting there waiting because it wasn't coming. I had to give myself permission. I had to explain it to myself. I had to lay it at the feet of God. I had to pray on it. And I had to close that chapter. Because you have to ask yourself, why are you seeking their explanation anyway? What is going to change if they even give you an explanation that you're looking for? Nothing. Nothing's going to change. It still happened. Your peace was still broken. You're still upset. So it's because that situation is replaying in your mind. It's making you question your own worth. It's making you question your own motives. And it's making you ask yourself whether or not you're good enough. That's why you think you need that explanation and you don't. Now, this next part that I'm going to talk about, it may ruffle some feathers. But if you look back a couple videos ago, I told you from the beginning, and I'm going to have to keep it real. And I can't do it any other way. And I said that to say this. Sometimes the chapters that we're needing to close, sometimes we're waiting on an explanation or to get closure, but the closure that we're really needing is not from an outside person. The explanation that we're needing is not from an outside person. It's that battle of me versus me, or you versus you. And you might be saying, well, what do you mean by that? Well, let's go even deeper. Let's go even deeper into the job situation. I had to really look at it. I had to really tell myself and break it down and be in grown woman status. And I had to say, every time I apply for a job, that doesn't mean I'm going to get it. That's just being realistic. Everything that I apply for does not mean that it's automatically going to be mine. And then I also had to go back and remember that I stand on the belief what's for me is for me. And what's not for me is simply not for me. And that doesn't change who I am. It just wasn't meant for me. So when I realized that, I had to look even deeper. It wasn't that I needed a better explanation as to why I didn't get the job, or it wasn't that even I had been rejected by the job. No, it was me. I had to close the door on a toxic mindset that I've been carrying around. I had to close the door on a limiting belief that I had been carrying around that was laying dormant, and it only came up when I was told no or when I was feeling some rejection. So it wasn't that I needed closure on specifically being told no about the job. It was that belief that I was carrying around that every time I'm told no, there's something wrong with me. I'm not good enough. I had to get closure for that. And once I realized that, bing, a light bulb went off, sis. And that's when it really locked in. And I was able to close that chapter, close that door, grieve that, because I replaced that limiting belief, that limiting mindset that every time I'm told no, it means that I'm not good enough. I replaced that with a better thought. No, rejection is protection. Remember, I said that in the last video, rejection is protection. Being told no doesn't change who I am. It does not change my skill set. It doesn't change my mind. I'm brilliant either way. I'm brilliant whether I'm in that job or I'm not in that job. Because again, what's meant for me is for me, and no weapon form can stop it. He didn't say they couldn't form. He said they wouldn't prosper. So you see, if I had of ruminate, kept letting that ruminate in me and kept playing it over and over, and oh, they were wrong, I would still be stuck. But because I really dug into it and I realized that the closure that was needed was on that limiting mindset that I had, that limiting belief. And if you're listening out there, I want you to ask yourself these questions. If you've been hurt and you're looking to get some closure and you're waiting on an apology or an explanation, ask yourself, why am I waiting on this apology? What is it about your own permission that isn't good enough for you to move forward? Close the door on those limiting beliefs. Close the door on those limiting mindsets so that you can truly be able to get the closure that you deserve. Sis, you deserve peace. You deserve to move forward. It is your birthright. And you deserve to move forward knowing that a rejection takes absolutely nothing away from your brilliance, your skill, your beauty. You are still the same beautiful person. And if any of this has resonated with you and you are ready to stop waiting for an apology, or you're waiting to close the doors on a limiting belief that may be hindering you, and you're ready to finally give yourself permission to close that door, I want to help guide you to those next steps. And so for a limited time, I'm offering 20 free one-on-one coaching sessions. It can be on any topic that you like to discuss, anywhere that you feel like that you're hindered and that you need some guidance and moving forward on that. Click the link down below and let's see how I can help you map out your next steps toward closure. Grab them before they're gone. This is limited time, and I would love, absolutely love to work with you. I want to thank you for tuning in today, and I definitely want you to remember that closure isn't about receiving an apology. Closure is giving yourself permission to grieve what hurt you, to process it, and to move forward, even if it's closing the door on a limiting belief. So until next time, remember that healing is a choice that every single woman has the right to make. And if no one has told you as of yet today, I am telling you, you are absolutely gorgeous. And may your day be as beautiful as you are. I'll see you on next Sunday.